Right friends, welcome back to Insight. This is 15th week. 3 issues we are going to deliberate. First one is Services PMI. PMI means Purchasing Managers Index. This Services PMI reached the highest in almost 2 years. That rose to 54.3. What exactly is the meaning of PMI? We are going to deliberate. The second issue is monsoon is likely to be above normal and is going to be 106% of a long period average of 89 centimeters. We are going to deliberate on what is meant by long period average. Then third important point which we are going to deliberate this week is RBI issued instructions with regard to masala bonds. And masala bonds or rupee denominated bonds, I would like to throw some light on this issue in this insight. First one is Services Purchasing Managers Index reached the highest in almost 2 years. What is this Purchasing Managers Index? This Purchasing Managers Index is being notified every month for both manufacturing and services, and basically it tracks the health of private sector companies, and here manufacturing report is keenly watched and the most important, and the respondents will be asked to respond with 3 options. One is better, same or worse, and various categories are taken before devising this manufacturing as well as the services. And please look into this slide. This is an example. If you look at China, this manufacturing purchasing managers index 50 is the benchmark. The line above 50 shows green, that is expansion of industry or expansion of manufacturing sector. If it goes below 50, that shows red line. Red line shows that the manufacturing sector, instead of expanding, it is contracting. So 50 is the benchmark. Anything above 50 shows expansion. Anything below 50 shows contraction. So this is about the Purchasing Managers Index. It is released for both the manufacturing as well as services, but manufacturing report is keenly watched and is most important. And what is the criteria for calculating this Purchasing Managers Index? The criteria is for manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index, new orders, whether new orders are there in companies. Second one is inventory levels. Companies manufacture different products, and whether the inventory inside the godowns is increasing or decreasing, that means whether there is a demand is there or not. Next one is production, whether there is a demand for production, whether production demand. Then another important aspect is supplier deliveries. Then employment environment, whether there is a demand for employment or retrenchments are taking place. So these are the factors before deciding manufacturing purchasing managers index. And basically one important point is it tracks the health of private sector industries. And if you look at services purchasing managers index, here transport and communications, financial intermediaries, business and personal services, computing, information technology, hotels, restaurants, basically services health in private sector is taken before deciding this purchasing managers index for services. So one is manufacturing, the other one is services, right? And if you want more about purchasing managers index, as I have already told you, index of 50 denotes no change. Above 50 indicates increase or improvements, below 50 indicates decrease or deterioration, as we have already seen in case of China for the past few years. And here responses from larger companies like GMR, L&T will have greater impact than smaller companies. Then purchasing managers index is normally published every month, and it provides evidence of changing economic conditions, especially in private sector, as I have already told you. So purchasing managers index has got relevance, and don't forget, if it is more than 50 it is expansion, less than 50 is contraction. This is one of the macroeconomic indicator which is being analyzed not only within our country but more across the world in developed countries. Right friends, look at the next one. Monsoon is likely to be above normal, and is going to be 106% of long period average of 89 centimeters. All of you are familiar with the monsoon pattern, that is southwest monsoon during the past 2 years, 2014 and 2015. 2 years recorded deficient rainfall. In the year 2014, the rainfall was deficient by 12%, and during 2015 rainfall was deficient by 14%. Precisely this is the reason why we are facing serious water crisis across the country, especially in Marathwada, Bundelkhand region, certain parts of Telangana. The country is experiencing severe water crisis. This may be partly due to deficient rainfall during 2014 as well as 2015. And how the monsoon is categorized? The monsoon is categorized based on the long period average. We get monsoon rains through southwest monsoon, predominantly through southwest monsoon. Southwest monsoon season is from 1st June to 30th September. And it is expected to hit the country in Kerala normally on June 1, and it will spread to various parts of the country during the next 30 to 45 days, and we get more than 70% of the rainfall through this southwest monsoon. And the long period average, you may ask, what is long period average? Long period average is the average of rainfall of a duration of 50 years. 1951 to 2000, that 50 years average is long period average, and the long period average of this southwest monsoon is 89 centimeters, and it was deficient by 12% in 2014, by 14% in 2015. And now during 2016, as per the estimates of India Meteorological Department, this India Meteorological Department tracks the monsoon pattern, and as per IMD estimates, the 2016 southwest monsoon is going to be 106% of LPA. And what is the classification? The classification of monsoon, you can see from here, that is if you compare it with the long period average, 96% to 104% is normal. If the variation is -4% to +4% in comparison to long period average, that is normal. Then 90% to 96%, that is when the shortfall is 4% to 10%, that is below normal. When the shortfall is more than 10%, when the rainfall is below 90%, it is deficient. Similarly, if the rainfall is more by 4% to 10%, that is 104% to 110%, if the rainfall in comparison to the long period average, that means long period average is 89 centimeters. So, if the rainfall is excess by 4% to 10%, that is above normal. And if the rainfall is excess by more than 10%, it is excess. So, from this criteria, the rainfall during 2016 is going to be above normal, because it is expected to be 106% of long period average. Right friends, this classification by IMD is very important, and India's total food grain production is around 250 to 265 million tons. It touched a high of 265 million tons sometime back, and it is now hovering around 250 to 260 million tons, and rice is around 100 million tons. And wheat is behind rice production, that is around 90 million tons. These two are the predominant staple crops in this country, which are being used as major food crops in the country, right? And you may ask a pertinent question, why good monsoon is so important? Good monsoon is important because India is a predominantly agri-dependent country, because more than 50% of the population are dependent on agriculture, though agriculture and allied sectors constitute just 15% to GDP, but more than 50% population are dependent on agriculture. Second important point is, out of 141 million hectares of cultivable area of the country, only 46% has got assured irrigation facilities, and remaining area is rain fed. So, more than 50% area or more than 50% of agriculture in this country is rain dependent. That's why monsoon is very important in our country. And another important point is, good monsoon brings rural people out of distress, and purchasing power of the people, rural people, will increase, because of which nutritional standards will increase in rural areas. Not only that, GDP will also increase, because the good monsoon brings more food grains and more well-being of rural areas. Then food grains such as rice, maize and sorghum. You may ask, what is rice, what is maize, what is sorghum? Please look into this slide. These are food crops, and these crops are basically kharif crops. So, southwest monsoon is very much essential for growing of these crops, and good monsoon is essential for food security of our country. And the last point is, good monsoon years will have positive impact on the business climate due to more rural demand and because of reduced interest rates, because good monsoon normally goes into the monetary policy. When good monsoon is there, normally Reserve Bank will reduce repo rates at least by 0.25%. Right? So, these are all the positive aspects of having good monsoon for a country like India. Right, friends, look at the last issue. RBI issued instructions that the maximum amount that can be borrowed by an entity in a financial year under the automatic route by issue of rupee denominated bonds is rupees 5,000 crore. At the same time, RBI modified certain guidelines, and nowadays rupee denominated bonds are being issued by corporates abroad. Previously, when the corporates are borrowing money from foreign countries, they used to borrow in dollar terms or euro terms, but now these rupee denominated bonds are being issued abroad, and corporates are getting money by issuing rupee denominated bonds, and these are known as masala bonds. And you may ask, what are the advantages? The biggest advantage is the currency risk lies with the lender, not the borrower. If the Indian companies are borrowing money from abroad in rupee denominations, if the rupee depreciates, then Indian corporates will not be affected. Only the lender will be affected. Whoever gave money, he will be affected, but not the borrowers. That is one important aspect of this masala bond. And another important aspect is why the foreigners are subscribing to masala bonds only nowadays but not previously. Because foreigners have got more faith on Indian currency. Foreigners feel that Indian currency is now stable and not much volatility is expected in Indian currency, right? And this is the corporate debt, whether they are taking loans in dollar terms or euro terms or masala bonds, everything is corporate debt, and this comes under overall limit for corporate debt taken from foreign land, and at present the limit is 2,44,323 crores of rupees. As I have already told you, in these bonds the currency risk lies with the lender but not the borrower, right? And if you look at the stipulations by Reserve Bank of India, that is under the automatic route, maximum limit prescribed is rupees 5,000 crores by each entity in a financial year. In addition to that, there are other stipulations. First one is, these can only be issued in a country and subscribed by a resident of a country that is a member of FATF. You may ask, what is FATF? FATF is Financial Action Task Force, and This is established in 1989. It is intergovernmental body. At present, I think around 37 countries are there. India is also member of FATF, and this grouping is basically to avoid money laundering, to look at the suspicious financial transactions, and to look at the aspect of money laundering across the world. This Financial Action Task Force was constituted in the year 1989, and India is also the member. So, for issue of masala bonds, the country should be a member of FATF or FATF like body. And another important feature kept is the country's security market regulator. Suppose if Indian corporates are borrowing from other country like New Zealand, it's a security market regulator. Security market regulator means the body like SEBI. SEBI is the capital market or security market regulator, and security market regulator of that country should be a signatory to IOSCO. You may ask, what is IOSCO? IOSCO is the organization established in 1983 in Madrid, Spain, and India is also a member of IOSCO. All of you are familiar with the Bank for International Settlements. If you look at the Reserve Bank of India, the world body which comes to your mind is the Bank for International Settlements at Basel, Switzerland. Similarly, if you look at the capital market regulators like SEBI, the organization which looks at the efficiency of these regulators, or the organization which constitutes the membership of these type of security market regulators like SEBI, is IOSCO, and it is in Madrid, Spain. So, the security market regulator of that country should be signatory to IOSCO's multilateral memorandum of understanding, or that should be signatory to a bilateral memorandum of understanding with the SEBI, right? So, these are the important stipulations given by Reserve Bank of India. So, masala bonds means rupee denominated bonds where the corporates issue abroad and money is collected in rupee terms but not in foreign currencies. The most important right is the currency risk lies with the lender but not the borrower. Right friends, we have deliberated 3 issues this week. Have a nice day. Please do join for other modules. Thank you.